So here we are. We're live. Hello, everybody. We want to welcome you to Universal Heart Wisdom. And this happens every Thursday. We are sponsored by the Love Coach Academy, which was created by Scott Katamas. And so we're very grateful for all the teachings around compassion, communications, empathy, all sorts of different tools like how to handle challenging situations and arrive into peace, with your partner, where challenges can actually just create deeper intimacy when everybody's willing and able and curious and leaning into how can we create deeper understanding and learn more about each other. So universal heart wisdom is also how can we learn more about each other, really accepting the diversity in this world. So many, everybody's unique, everybody's wonderful. And when we can really accept the soul of each other, the real beauty in the heart and soul, there's so much harmony, So for me, I have been a love coach. I am a healthy lifestyle coach. I also work with Dr. Ibrahim Jaffe, and I do what's called very advanced Sufi healing. And it's all about just going into the heart and soul and bringing in the qualities that help us to have a better life. I also lead adventure retreats in paradise. So welcome here. My co-host is Kamela Love. And Kamela, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Certainly. Thanks, Deborah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kamela Love. I am a love coach with Love Coach Academy. And I also have a business called Transform into Love, where I do transformational relationship coaching and supporting family members with conflict resolution. I have a mediation training dating way back to when I was a kid. My mother's a mediator. We have a lot of awesome communication nerdiness in our family. So I've taken a gazillion healing trainings and communication trainings and love doing this work, love doing facilitation and supporting people to live conscious lives and to have the kind of relationships that really are the deep walking to spirit through your beloved's heart. So if that speaks to you, that's what we're about.
That is so wonderful. Also, I want to say that I know Kamela's amazing mother and father because they were part of the healing school I went to. So yeah, what an amazing family you have. And I invited Frannie Hoffman tonight as our guest, and I had the privilege of meeting Frannie in January when I was told about the International Rising Tide Center in Sarasota, and Frannie was leading a women's group, and I went to this women's group, and the room was filled. There must have been 120 women there, and in two concentric circles. And this beautiful, gentle soul that we have here leading this whole evening and seeing how much all the women love and adore her. So she's a pretty amazing woman, and I'm going to let her tell you more about her amazing journey. But I then went and did a session with her, and was so, first of all, it was so magical because I have moved recently to Florida, and I'm right here in Ellington, near where she lives in Anna Maria. So I drove out there like on a pilgrimage and arrived at her door. Her house is all my favorite colors, turquoise and yellow, and the Buddha was right there at the doorway, and coming in and just the amazing love and just really healing through love. And boy, who doesn't need more love in their life? So anyway, hey, Frannie, I would love for you to talk about yourself, what you're into, and how you got into this amazing work.
Sure. Thanks, Deborah. I'm just so honored to be here. I haven't done an interview for a while, so it's kind of fun. And Kamela, both of you, it's so inviting, you just so easy to be with. And love Deborah and her work and all that she is and stands. I love all these live talks you're doing because it's just, I love how they come on Facebook and then you can watch them again and again if you want to. It's really cool. And so From Modeling Clothes to Modeling Self is a book that I wrote a while ago, and I still It's like, when other people buy it or people still want it, I just say, you're giving it more life. It's just because the words that are written, I think as we evolve, becomes more life. And then if you read it and somebody else read it, it just gives it more life. So I love writing. Writing's my healer. And Anna Maria is my sacred sanctuary. And I really believe that through this time of COVID, I feel like I'm in this really, bubble. Bubble. I get to walk in a block to the golf, and that's my healing place. And I get to sit in my backyard and be with nature every day. So I feel so blessed because it's such an amazing place to write. And so my journey from modeling clothes to modeling self is about, I modeled for a long time. And I got sick, and so sick that it was, back then, it was 30 years ago, they called it the environmental sensitivities, cognitive fatigue, 20th century disease. And with one breath of a pollutant, any kind of toxin, I would go into a catatonic state. And nobody knew what to do. And doctors wanted to put me on medication. And I heard this voice so loud, no. And I ran out of the doctor's office and it's no. And I began to heal through going deeper into my traumas and heal the toxicity in my body. And with all of us on this planet, I think most of us who are healers or teachers or walking the path have some kind of trauma or something that has brought them to that awakening. So from modeling clothes to modeling self, it's like turning inward and finding out who I really am. And I cut my hair off and I wore baggy clothes. I didn't want to have anything to do with that life because I wanted to find out who I was. And so writing became my teacher. Writing opened me up. It helped me heal. So when I began that journey of, I didn't know that I didn't know I was going to be a healer. I didn't know I was going to be a counselor. And I was meditating with my best friend. She came down to visit and I'm teaching her to meditate. And all of a sudden I start channeling, and I didn't know anything about it. I never read about it. It was like this voice started to speak to me. And I remember when it was all over, she says, "Oh my God, that was beautiful." And I said, "It felt so good. Let's do it again." It was like this amazing experience that changed and rocked my world and began my journey. And then I started to go deeper into myself and went on a trip to Mount Shasta with my angel sisters and met some amazing people. And this one night, Gary Zukav, and some of you know him. He's written Dancing Woolly Masters, Seed of the Soul, and I didn't know who he was. And I had this experience that night of being pushed into the middle of the tent where maybe 100 people were sitting. And I saw this light and I just went like this. It was like something was moving through me. And I just went to every person and looked into their eyes, and their words just flowed through. And when it was all over, I mean, people were crying or feeling, and I was just being totally moved into an arena. I didn't know what the heck was going on, but I was in this place of just listening and hearing and speaking, giving myself totally to the light.
That is so amazing. That is, I think in so many paths, it really is about that. Today in this healing, and I don't want to limit it to just Sufi, but, the healing process, we've been being guided to go up through the heart, through the soul, into really like into God or spirit or higher power, whatever you want to call it, and then bringing that light down. And I think when we discover this in ourselves, you know, we're all bringing our souls more in. It's really about soul awakening. And then it becomes natural. I used to have to, I used to do a lot of public speaking. So I would say, okay, God, just speak through me. Just take over and speak through me. And it really worked. It really works, doesn't it?
It really does.
It really does.
And so at the end of that experience, because I kind of came back to my chair and I was like, okay, a little bit nervous about what just happened. And Gary Zukav came up to me and he said, I see, and I didn't know who he was. You're a very empowered woman. And I go, okay, he saw that. And I wasn't living that. I wasn't an empowered woman yet. I know that that was the beginning of my self-empowerment. But days went by, and one evening I was having this experience that really just did change my life. And I was in his living room, and there was this painting of Jesus. And I grew up Catholic, and there's a part of Jesus was always a part of me. My brother, I always felt he was a brother walking on the earth, teaching us to love. But this picture was something I never saw Jesus look like. And as I'm standing there, this light was pouring out of the picture. And I wasn't the only one that was witnessing that, because the others in the room, Gary and some other friends, we were witnessing this light coming from this picture. And so that night, when I went to sleep, I woke up in the night with this love that was burning inside of me, and the wall of the room wasn't there anymore. And there was the mountain of Mount Shasta. And I had this experience of the past, the present, the future talking to me. And then I could feel this experience and being touched by Christ saying, you're ignited in the Christ light. Now go out and share this with all humanity. And the love was so unconditional, but so flowing through me that I just stayed awake all night, just drinking it in and crying, because I never experienced it in this lifetime, this love like that. And so when Gary got off in the morning, came out into the room and saw me, he said, you're all golden light. And I go, what do I do now? And he became a wonderful mentor, knowing that light is what then came into me, but to bring up everything that needed to be brought up. So it didn't mean it was magical. And in that moment, it felt like it was divine, but it just worked inside of me to unveil me, to uncover me, to bring me to be all that I am. And it taught me life, then just taught me how to be more conscious. And then I was told to write the book, and I wasn't a writer, I'm an artist, but I just began writing, and then so the book became what it was. And it took me, I wrote it years of writing until I got it published. But because when you tell people, sometimes we're not ready to bring it, that part. I wasn't ready to be that. I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid of someone saying something that I wasn't ready to answer. So it took a long time for me to really get the book out. But I started to do my work with myself, but then slowly I started to help others, and I did meditation circles all over, and women's retreats, and just everything that was being taught to me, I was sharing. It was like, that's what it's like, isn't it? You get inspired, you just heal, it just starts to spill out of you. And I just it just spilled out of me. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but it was an energy unto itself, and it just became my work. It became my path. And so that's the beginning of how it all happened. And
wow. Since I'm in a healing school, and I have had a path where my mom studied comparative religious studies, at Smith and Harvard. So she was really working with, the amazing theologians and all the different world religions. And they've said, if somebody's Jewish, they might be seeing Moses on the mountaintop, or if someone's Buddhist, they will see it coming through with the Buddha, or if there's Sufi, coming through Muhammad, or and then the three prophetic religions of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and then Sufism is the mystical branch of Islam. But I want to say to our audience, because people, you could be in any root religion. We want to just really honor whatever your religions are. We are diplomats, and we that's why I call it universal heart wisdom, because there's a heart wisdom, and I'm getting chills as I say this. There is a heart wisdom that is at the heart of humanity, that I feel it comes from the Creator, that is not about separation at all. It's about how do we create more love and more light on this planet. So people will get it through different holy people, different people who speak to them, and you had a Christian background. So I just want to say that, so that whatever walk of life you come from, please listen on, because we are including you, and we want to hear from you. And I think Kamela wanted to say something.
So, Frannie, I love your sort of tipping point story. It sounds like the story you just shared with us was the moment when this huge spiritual download started coming through you. Yeah?
That's right.
And I know many people have had these experiences where they're living their ho-hum everyday life, whatever that looks like, and then all of a sudden there's some major shift in consciousness, like your story, like something that's a total 180. And all of a sudden they now are channeling this presence and expressing this voice that wasn't expressed before. So I'm curious if you can speak into what that experience was like, and maybe for those who are listening who are having a similar experience or who have had a similar experience. I imagine there's some in the beginning maybe wanting to stuff it or hide it or being really uncomfortable with it, and there's a sort of growth edge to really live into this new expression.
I think you're saying it so beautifully, because you grow into it, exactly, because I saw it as the experience was so intense because I had so many blocks and resistance. So it was like every time I would bring in that energy, it would, at the beginning, I would be in bed sometimes for 2 or 3 days or all day. I mean, I would be hard to get up because I'd been sick. So it was healing me, but it was stretching me and helping me look at all the things that would come up. So it was like this intense energy would come in. And at the beginning, I think I was more in a trance state and not grounded. So my journey was to be grounded. So I think we have these experiences, and maybe not everyone has them maybe as intensely as that, but it's just the infusion of that energy, this unconditional love, that maybe we forget since we were in the womb. And then all of a sudden we embody that, or it comes in. And then I love what you said, we grow into it, because it's almost as if it let me let go of the false self, my falseness. I kept walking, and my falseness would fall away, more of my falseness. So it was about learning about self-love, and that's accepting our darkness, accepting our traumas, accepting our beliefs, accepting all of ourselves. So as I would look at myself, and I think that's really what all of our journeys in the spiritual path is, to face who we are and to let go of the masks and the coverings, and get so really open to receive who we really are. And so it was beyond the image. It was, but yet it embodying it created this healthy body. I'm healthier now than I was then. And it just it just became me. And so, and all it really was is self-love, isn't it? It's like loving self so much that you can love the moment and not react to the moment, but accept the moment so that you can love greater. And so writing being actually what I use to bring in a lot of the voices I would hear, or the light that I was receiving, and then expressing it through my voice. But
that is so important. Yeah.
And to express it through my voice. So it's like, whatever, I'm not a dancer, even though I love to dance, and I'm not a singer, even though I love to sing. But to me, it's like anyone who's singing is channeling, anybody who's writing is channeling. So it's just bringing in that energy, but emptying. So I think that for everyone out there who might have had an experience, and whatever it is, it doesn't have to be as intense, but it's like that shift that turns around. I had to change my life. I had to leave a marriage. I had to move away. I had to do things that I really wasn't planning on, and it just, I had to do it. I had to walk the path because nothing else seemed right. I had to do what this energy and the truth and my soul was calling me to do. And I had to do it trusting completely. And so my years of doing this and listening to spirit and being the messenger, and then, spirit loved ones would come, and guides and angels and clients would pass away, and they'd bring messages. And my life was being that vessel and that opening to bring in that message, whatever that message was, to help someone. And sometimes
I want to just pause for a moment, because you're saying a lot, and this is part of spiritual awakening. I know people on the path of spiritual awakening, when we really get into, first of all, many times people pray for a teacher, and then the teacher arrives.
Right.
And then we start working with the teacher, and we might work with several teachers. I mean, I worked with Maharishi in transcendental meditation, and then when I was 26, I arrived in Santa Cruz, and I met these Sufis, and I saw they had a teacher, so I decided I would pray for a teacher. And then I met this other teacher who taught me a lot, and we fasted and retreated on Mount Shasta, and I led retreats on Mount Shasta all through the 80s. And I gave up all my belongings and traveled on faith. I did 10 days on water on the mountain, and also 10 days on water in Yosemite. And, all those things that you're talking about, because it sounds like you left modeling, and all of that fanciness and the facade of being perfect and beautiful and gorgeous, and being in magazines, and then to have a spiritual awakening. And as you say, from modeling clothes to modeling self, your book, I have a piece of hair in my mouth. Gosh, just being natural here. Okay, so and then what is it? The simple. I don't have your book in front of me, but I love your book.
The journey of remembering the simple truths.
Yeah, the simple truths of love.
Because when it comes in, it's so simple.
It gets simpler. Yeah,
it does. It gets
a straight and narrow path. I've been seeing that in the beginning, it has to be a straight and narrow path, because you're leaving all these, all the temptations of the world and everything that, and then we have to just go. It's really like a journey up through our crown chakra into God consciousness, and then bringing it back into our body, and then grounding it. So daily practices, like, and some form of exercise that we love. I love swimming and doing water aerobics and dance, and I've done yoga at different times, and meditating, and now prayers. And so what are some of the practices that did help you grounded? Also, like nutrition, cleansing.
Well, because I had been sick, I did change my diet completely. And so I changed my lifestyle completely. It was like I went extreme, and I meditated, of course, writing, yoga, swimming. I would swim an hour a day. I didn't feel good in my body unless I was swimming. I'd have this amazing experience of swimming and I'd feel healthy and healed, you know. Or when I meditated, I would expand and become a part of that universe and feel well. And then I would do yoga and in those moments and feel well. So that I'd have these moments of feeling really well, and then it would that energy would bring up anything I need to write or express or take care of. And so I just, it's interesting because my all that I do to keep well or to be aligned with who I am is what I did starting back then. I do, it's just natural. It's like brushing my teeth. I don't go out into the world until I breathe and do my breath work or do my meditation. I stretch my body. I eat the foods that feed me. It's been important, but I did go so extreme. And then I came back one day. It was like, because I cut my hair off short, and it was like I didn't want attention. I didn't want anybody to see me. And I remember one day my guide saying, you're a flower in this beautiful garden upon this earth, and just be yourself. You don't have to. So it's like I thought I had to cut my hair off and not wear any makeup and put big shirts on and hide my body. And so it was really an incredible aha moment for me that I could be me and love clothes, because I do, and love, my hair, and love the part of being human, and get grounded. So I had to get grounded into being in a body, because I lived so much out of my body, and getting sick got me back into my body. So I realized that when I learned to really embrace and touch my emotional body, no matter what was going on inside of me, without trying to fix it, change it, cover it up, whatever, I softened and I got grounded and I got present and more space. And so then I'd walk on, and that's taught me and it brought me the gifts that I share with others. And
yeah, so yes, you have so much to share, so much richness. I just want to bring it around to, you're talking a lot about self-love. I mean, really coming into the value of honoring who we are, our uniqueness, and honoring whatever our beauty or handsomeness is, honoring that bodies are really a miracle. It's an absolute miracle. Sometimes I can't believe it, that my heart is beating every single moment, whether I'm asleep or awake or walking or dancing, that, we're breathing in this oxygen that we share. And now out there, this COVID thing is crazy, because the fact that people are afraid to breathe each other's air.
Well, I had COVID. I did have COVID. I had it.
COVID? Oh my God.
End of April, I did have it, and it wasn't an easy virus to get through, and it was about a 6-week journey. But thank God, I was happy to have my spiritual practice, because some days I couldn't even lift up a glass.
Whoa! So you really had it, and you healed. And what did you find helped you? Because I know for me, if I had it, I do massive vitamin C, different immune boosters. I do my Purium shakes that I love, that have all the mushrooms that boost the immune system, and green with the spirulina and the chlorella and the dunaliella, or apples and lemon juice in the morning. So we probably all have our things we've discovered. I know, Kamela, you look so healthy. What do you do for your health?
All kinds of things. I put the mushrooms in my protein shake every morning too. Yeah, I actually joke about it. It's not joking. I just say this all the time. I've probably never been healthier because I'm taking so many immune support things since COVID started. I'm like pumped up and healthy and feeling great. I do yoga every morning practically. So I feel excellent, and that makes me, have more courage in the world with this virus going around, that I know my immune system's really, really strong because I'm supplementing it more than ever before. But I actually want to ask you a question on that, Frannie, because you alluded before to having had some illness that created a bit of a tipping point in your life and in your spiritual awakening and opening. And having mentioned that you were positive for COVID, I'm really interested to hear what your journey with COVID was like on the spiritual learning level, and what kind of lessons you got out of that.
Well, that's it was like at times I couldn't even think about anything but my next breath and getting the mucus out. So
how long ago? I just want to ask you.
In April, I got it.
April, okay.
It was that kind of at the beginning when people and it was, it just, because I had the practice of being present, it was just being more present with myself. And, it was isolation time. I had to open up to people helping and bringing me food and helping get groceries. And my partner at the time was cooking and helping. You had to allow yourself to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So that was a big, to really receive that, because I had no choice but that.
Yeah.
And just to know, and because I had illness in my past, to know, I just knew I would be well. I wasn't in the fear that I was going to die.
Beautiful.
I knew I would get well, and I knew that I would get everything I needed, because I did, like vitamin C IVs, and a doctor from California who had many COVID patients who gave me all the protocol. It was like I had all the support. Of course, I couldn't be with family. You're isolated, but it was just, I knew I would heal, and that's my life had brought me that, and I think that's, taking care of yourself. That's what my life had been, learning to take care of myself. But it was the next level of allowing myself to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And, it's very humbling to let that God, universe, all that is, to come in through others, because it's a humbling thing to just be that. And I think that's for all of us. I think anyone who has any kind of terminal illness or any kind of illness that brings us to our knees, that's life-threatening, we have to allow ourselves to be loved. And so, because it's the giving and the receiving. So that was an incredible time for me. And now, I'm healthier than ever because, you're just doing everything to be well. And of course, to me, breathing is so, and that's the big thing about it, is your breath.
Yeah.
So and when you don't have even energy to breathe, it's hard to breathe, and you have to.
Yeah.
Well, I was grateful that I had the practice that I have.
Yeah.
So that's journey is so good for anything we're going through. I believe that a spiritual path or a lifestyle path of loving and caring for ourselves is just going to help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm moved by one of the parts you said in your experience with COVID earlier. You said that all you could focus on was your next breath. Like you didn't have the ability to raise your glass, and there was enough compression or mucus that it's like your awareness was your next breath. Yeah. And I think there's actually something incredibly sacred and special in that experience, particularly with our modern lives of so much bombardment and so much input and so much information and so much technology. And one of the blessings I see in COVID is the simplification of our lives. And I've actually really welcomed that in a lot of ways. I'm like, great, I get to be home and with my family and not running around as much. And I really appreciate that simplification of life. And, you know, I live in San Diego, and some of my soul's longing is really to live in nature and to get out of a city environment because of all the input. So I've never had the near death experience where literally all I'm aware of is the next breath.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if you're able to unpack that and share what that particular experience is like.
Well, you know, I think I've had a few near-death experiences kind of like that. But that one was, I was so in my body. You know, that's the thing. My life has brought me to be really grounded and really present. So I was really in my body. I could feel every part of my body. And I think that that's the ticket home for us all, to be so in our bodies. And so it was, it's eternal, because when you're so present and you're so in your body and so present, it's just a space opens up, and there's a surrender that there's nothing to do, as you said, but breathe and be taken care of and to trust. And I think that a lot of us have a fear of that, to be totally trusting that we're going to be taken care of. And I think that's really our journey. And when my husband passed away 7 years ago of an aneurysm right here in my kitchen floor, and didn't matter how much I knew about the other side or spirit, or I wanted him in his body. You know, I didn't want to be talking to him in spirit, and yet he said right, and I said, no, I don't want to. And so, you know, I began to write, and that helped heal my grief and get me grounded into the reality of living my life without him in body, but to be with him more in spirit. Like, you know, there was a beautiful quote once by someone, and they said, you know, Yoko Ono, you know, for John Lennon's wife, so they said to her, well, you were 98% together always. What's it like now to be without John Lennon? And she said, I'm with him 100% now.
Wow, that is so beautiful.
I got to experience that, because when I would join in spirit, get out of my head and in my heart, I would hear him, I would feel, and I would be in that presence with him. And, you know, I got to, with my grieving, sure, I cried buckets. But then when the space opens up, because you know, this loss, and, you know, it's such an important time, COVID, that there is so much loss going on, loss of our, you know, careers, loss of bank accounts, loss of partners, loss of our children, loss of jobs, of, you know, so much loss. And so this book I've been writing too for a while, because but now it's the time for it to come out, Lost, the Doorway to New Life. And the words in my book that come from my spirit loved one, Steve, and he said, just write, just wanting me to write, are for everyone, because it's truth, and truth comes. So I just wrote the book, it unfolded, and then decided to write a daily read, but it's 365 days of inspiration, because in loss, I mean, it's all about the attachments to this world, but we don't really lose. It becomes more, and we become more because of it. And it
expands open, really, doesn't it? It expands open. There are many quotes in different holy books, and like when the heart cracks open, and more light can come in. And it is true that to lose a loved one, even through divorce. And I remember that feeling.
So death also.
Divorce, it was like, I don't know if death is better or divorce, because when he died, you knew that you guys totally loved each other, period.
Right.
And divorce can be another kind of thing. So however people are going through loss or hardship or challenge, when we can, I think, approach it like, okay, God, I need help. Please, please send the help. Please send the guidance. Send the teacher. Show me the way. Instead of, going and trying to anesthetize ourselves or something, or some people will resort to an addiction or substance abuse or shut down, and contract and get into even like workaholism or whatever. But when we can open up, like, okay, this person is just gone into spirit. So, spirit, please start teaching me, open me to a more spiritual life. I think that's what you're talking about. And
yeah, I wrote about that when he died, I was like a piece of porcelain shattered into 1,000, 10,000 pieces on the floor. And I nobody could do the journey for me. And I know that grief is like an animal, and you just don't know when it's going to come and just break you open. You have to let it come and do what it's got to do, because it does. If you live with a new normal, but it breaks you so open that you can love greater. When you let go of that attachment, when I let go of the attachment, like when you can just love greater. And I always say that how much I cried for him that's how much I loved him.
Oh gosh,
and it wasn't always an easy journey, no relationships are. But when that person that's healthy as can be, and then from one breath to the next, they're gone. It's like, it just makes you so appreciative of everybody in your life, that this could be the last moment you're with them, and to honor and to love them and offer, that part of yourself, because we just don't know when it's going to happen. And
yeah, that is
incredible
that's so beautiful. How great to capture that in a book. That sounds like a very useful book. Good grief.
Well, it's not called Good Grief. I wanted to call it Good Grief, and somebody I didn't patent it, and it was going to be Good Grief, Lost, the Doorway to New Life. And so it's also perfect, because now this loss, it's not just about the death of a loved one. It's like the death of parts of ourselves. It's a loss of health. It's a loss of our freedom in the physical body. It's a loss of anything that can bring us to more life. And so
that's so true. And I want to talk about empathy, because we're coming to the time is passing us fast, and then I want to hear what you were going to say. But this is why we call ourselves love coaches, because when people are going through hard times or having this loss, grief, whatever it is, the kind of coaching that we do really offers empathy. So someone has a safe space to bring their challenge or their grief or their deep loss that they might not even have gotten in touch with the grief yet. And as you said, it comes in waves. You said it's like an animal. It comes, I call it waves. But really offering people empathy, and then a whole compassionate way to learn how to go deep inside to the root source, and then clear it and heal it and come they say if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So it actually brings a new kind of strength, doesn't it? People come into their strength, and if we're guided correctly, either by inner guides or outer guides, usually, I would say people most often benefit from having a coach. That's why they come to you, Frannie. But that's why they come to me or to
Got
Camila.
you.
They come to us. They come to us because they want the kind of love that we're offering, the empathy, we've gone on the wisdom journey. We've, traveled for many years. We have gone from A to Z in a couple of things. And so we have tools in our tool belts, and we are here to help. So I just want to say all three of us are coaches, and we offer really deep empathy and compassion and daily practices, and learning meditation, learning prayer, learning different ways to heal. Yeah.
And I think this, this time of is about consciousness. And as hard as everything seems to look, I think it's awakening. It's an awakening time. And I believe in our humanity. And I really believe that everyone who comes to my door, brings me more presence. They bring me more of me because I bow to them. I bow to them because I get to be so intimate, and I love intimacy. Into me, I see the intimate with that person. It's the most beautiful gift. I feel so honored that I get to my life's journey has taught me how to listen and to listen to and to embrace and touch and hold every part of me, every part. And that when I can, through my day, I can have every kind of emotion or feeling or thought. But when we receive all of ourselves, we become this incredible opening, this channel to respond to life, to let it fill us up so it spills out of us, it spills out of our eyes. And if you can all just receive, I'm going to receive a little message, but for all of us, but it comes when we empty and we let go and we touch ourselves so authentically and real that we soften and we let go of all these coverings that seem to hide us. And the more that we can be transparent, the more that we can listen to every part of us, no matter what the calling is, that we can hear the truth that's here to be shared. And you don't know who's coming to walk into your door, but the doorway is your heart. And the doorway of a heart is either you walking through or inviting someone in. And in this gift of living in the heart, it's the truest intelligence because it knows everything. And it doesn't matter where you've been. It does not matter who you are. It does not matter if you are feminine or masculine or black or white or gray. Whatever is your color is transparent when the light enters as your soul. And your soul, as that light illuminates every part of your humanity. It is the light that is seen and reflected back in this world. And no one is separate from it. No one. And so when you walk into your ordinary world with your heart wide open, and you are the vessel for spirit. And what you do as you have looked at yourself internally, you go, look into the mirror and look at yourself and say, hello, you beautiful being of light.
Yes.
And when you see who you are so worthy to be, all that you are, you walk into your world and you say, as you bow to everyone, hello, my beautiful being of light, I love you. And so it is that in every moment of your existence, you're able to be all that you are. because no one keeps you from that. No, nothing is a prisoner for you. You are not the prison, and it cannot ever take you away from the cage that is open all the time for you to fly and be free. Because at every moment, it is you that is showing the world how free you are. And nothing stands in your way except the mind that believes that you are separate from anything, and you're not. So be it, beloved ones, be it, beloved ones. For in your being, you are the reflection of all that can be. And spirit, soul, that you are, wants to live now consciously in your breath as you breathe more life into all that walk with you. And that is love. And that love is free. And that love multiplies. And that light, that as you join and bow to humanity, gives light and allows light to be you. So be it. So be it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So, Frannie, is you were clearly just channeling, and it's clearly beautiful, just amazing. Drinking divine love in is my drink of choice. And so, was that your meditation, or would you like to do another short one? We're at 6:52, and then in the last couple of minutes, I will kind of wrap everything up. But that was so beautiful. Did you just?
It kind of just came, so I let it come.
Kind of just came.
There was an opening for it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I want to say to everybody out there in the audience that if you're watching this, you're already seeing that it's live, and then it becomes an archive, and then you can share it with friends. So you can send it to anybody's page, keep it on your page, tag friends that you want to see it, because we love sharing all these good vibes around and really just bringing more love onto the planet. And as I said, all three of us are we are love coaches, and we do we're here to serve you. So we really do want you to come and be with us and reach out to us, find us, please, and we would love to serve you. So, Frannie, I'm just so grateful that you have been here tonight. Thank you for all your wisdom, your beautiful presence, your amazing way of channeling, and the kind of sessions you do are so beautiful. And your books, I can't wait to read that second book that's coming out.
Thank you.
And any of you,
and I'm so honored to be with you both, and I just love how you weave together and bring out, it's just like a little song. Beautiful.
And you can find me and Kamela on Love Coach Academy. So there is a Facebook page, Love Coach Academy, and you can also find us on our pages. Kamela has another page called Kamela Peace, where you can reach out to her. And so there's Kamela's information, and then she'll put mine next. And then I want to announce our next show next week, because we always bring on amazing people. We're going to have another friend of mine from Sebastopol, Kiana Grace Frost, and she works with the whole role of authenticity, creativity, and compassion in these times of radical change. And she works with somatic therapy and really helps her clients find where they're stuck and move out of being stuck, so that they can free up all who they are, what they want to be, and what they want to give to the world. So it's going to be a very exciting discussion next week. And today has been so awesome. It's just so wonderful to be with everybody. I wonder if there are any comments out there. We love it when people do comments. but we just we're not. Let's see, any comments?
I've been keeping an eye on it, and nothing today. It's a light comment day to day. If anybody out there wants to ask Frannie any questions, feel free to comment. If you want to share anything, we'll pull your live feed up. We are interactive with our audience.
Okay, great, super duper, and yeah. So let's see, Frannie, do you want to do another? Well, okay, we're at the end of time. So if you want to reach Frannie, you know where to find her, and she's amazing. And then we just want to thank Scott Thomas again, who created the Love Coach Academy, and who also has an amazing show on Saturdays called Saturday Night Alive, where he's bringing on just amazing people, and that's at 6 p.m. California time and 9 p.m. East Coast time. And also Love Coach Academy has different shows. Kamela and I will be doing this every Thursday up until Thanksgiving, and then it may morph into something else. But please join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. California time. And you can always find it on our pages and on Love Coach Academy. So
so why doesn't everyone let's just breathe?
Yay, I love breathing.
And just feel everything that we are.
Yeah.
Feel yourself so completely. Just drink yourself in as if you're in this incredible garden and you're part of the garden and you're just receiving every part of your humanity. So receive. For in your receiving, you become the giver of life. So receive and receive and receive until you are so full, then you go out and share it with all who come and walk on your path. In this moment now, you are free. In your breath, you are the one that's choosing life. This beautiful life that is living because of you. So go out and share it just as you are. For the greatest gift you give to humanity is to be yourself. Namaste.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I love that.
Frannie, thank you for being on our show. You vibrate such a beautiful essence in every way.
Thank
and
you.
It has been a real gift having you and being in your field. Thank you.
Thank you for being my mirror.
Oh.
Beautiful.
What a beautiful time to be together. And so, as we said, people can reach out to us on Facebook, at our websites, on Love Coach Academy. And please find us here again next Thursday when we will be having Kiana Grace Frost on and exploring exciting questions and grounded practices, daily practices, anything that creates more self-love, more love in your relationships, families, community, at work, ways that you bring love and empathy and compassion to the table. So,
and all your shows are amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Love you. Okay. See you all later. Mwah. Yay.
Thank you.